Kaylee.
And I'm Dan.
And we're made to wander.
More.
Today we're going to tell you about everything you need to know about planning a trip to Mendocino.
First, we're going to tell you how to get there and where to stay.
And then what to do and how to budget for it.
So let's take a look.
How to get there. So that's where we're gonna start. And where you're gonna start most likely is either San Francisco Airport or Santa Rosa Airport, or maybe you're coming from locally in the area. Either way, your path inwards is going to lead you through the Anderson Valley, which most people don't think about when they're going up to the Mendocino coast, but is directly on the way there. And it's got beautiful vineyards. It's like dialing back time to 20 years ago in Napa or Sonoma. So definitely plan on a stop there on your way. So make sure you budget some time. From San Francisco up to Mendocino is about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more with traffic. So I would make sure if you're gonna go up for a long weekend, try to take the full day off on Friday or maybe a half day so you have enough time to check out one of these beautiful old wineries with great Pinots. There's some great sparkling up there as well. You won't wanna miss it. The other nice thing about it is they still accept walk-ins, so if you don't have time to plan too far in advance, a lot of them will still welcome you with open arms. And it's a lot cheaper too. Instead of $40 or $50 for a tasting, it's like $5 to $10 to $15, and usually that gets waived if you buy a bottle. So just a couple of little tips there. After that, you go through the beautiful Navarro Redwood State Park, which is why I recommend taking a whole day to get up there, because once you've stopped at the winery, and then you hit these redwoods, you're definitely gonna wanna get out and take some photos, if not a little hike on the way, because it's just so stunningly, ethereally beautiful. From there, you hit the coast, and it is a rugged, gorgeous, beautiful coast, and you are in Mendocino.
One thing to mention, if you are sensitive to motion sickness, bring some ginger pills, because the drive through the forest and the whole vineyard area can be quite a ride.
Yeah. That's true.
So now that you've made it to the coast, where should you stay? So we stayed at the Albion Inn, which is right before Mendocino, and I can highly recommend it. Other than that, there are a lot of different inns along the coastline, and a lot of them come with beautiful, epic coastal views, so you really can't go wrong. It does get a little bit chilly on the Northern California side of things, so try to get a room with a fireplace, which makes it a little bit extra romantic. And also a lot of the inns come with breakfast included, so you don't really have to rush out and find food early in the morning. As a matter of fact, a lot of people who go there probably just stay in the inn the entire weekend and just like bring a book, enjoy the views, listen to the water, and just take in the beautiful scenery of the Mendocino coastline. If you want to do all of this on a little bit of a cheaper budget, there are plenty of campground options around that range from $50 to $100 per night. But since it is California, do make sure to book this way in advance. I'm talking 6 months, 9 months. I mean, last season, book it last season.
For the campgrounds. Yeah.
For the campground, because it is very, very booked out here all the time.
So now you've gotten there, you found a great place to stay, what do you want to do? The biggest thing to do up in the Mendocino coast is enjoy the epic natural beauty. And for us to say that feels like kind of a big deal since we both lived in New Zealand for a number of years. But truly guys, it is stunning. So not only do you have the epic, rugged, cliffy coastline and all the hawks and cormorants and all the things that come with that, but also the stunning ethereal redwoods that I already talked about. Beyond that, there's adorable little towns with art and log cabins and all of that kind of beauty to enjoy. So the first couple of things I'll talk about more will be on the natural beauty side, which are hikes, right? So when it comes to hiking, those are really your two kind of like main options, are to head to the woods, specifically Navarro Redwood State Park or the Mendocino Woodlands State Park. Those two are the ones that are going to be the closest in to Mendocino specifically. If you want to carry on up towards Eureka, there's plenty more, but those are the ones that are like really close to Mendo itself. The second kind of hiking that you can do is coastal, right? And these are more like walks than hikes necessarily, but they're wonderful. So not only do you have like the cliffy sort of topography and terrain, but there's also just tons of rocks out in the water. So basically, if you want to walk around, take a bunch of photos of all of those beautiful things, then two places definitely to check out are Russian Gulch State Park, which is just this beautiful promontory that juts out right after a beautiful arch bridge. North of Mendocino. And then in Mendocino itself, actually, is the Mendocino Headlands Walk. So you can just walk, if you just keep walking past town, you end up again on a promontory, and you can circle out and just enjoy the beautiful views. You're on the West Coast, so sunset here, needless to say, can be unreal. If hiking and walking isn't your thing for whatever reason, totally cool, by the way, then being out on the water is definitely the second best thing to do, or maybe first best, depending on your preference. A couple of things to check out here would definitely be renting a canoe or a kayak. There are tours that you can do where you can go out on your own, either in the ocean or on the river. Both incredibly beautiful, and if you hit it at the right time of year, the other thing that you can do on the water is whale watching. This is one of the most premier places in the entire world to see the whales run. The best time to do that is between November and March. If you're natural beautied out at this point and you want to do a little more like human-y, I don't know what that means, stuff, then you're going to want to check out the town of Mendocino, which is a tiny town up on the north coast that we're centering this whole talk around, but is basically, for those of you from the northeast of the US, it's a lot like a town you'd find in Maine. It's a little bit artistic, a little bit rugged, a little bit hippie. Definitely has some cool like redwood galleries to check out. Has some fun restaurants that it looks like to visit at night. We didn't actually go to any of those. We stayed at the inn and just kind of hung there. But yeah, it's a really cute town that definitely warrants a few hours to go check out.
Okay, and last let's talk about the budget. Of course, the German gets to talk about the cost of things. So if you happen to be traveling north in California, like as you hit the Mendocino area, your prices immediately drop. So for me, beers dropped from $10 to $5 or $5.50, which I think is amazing. And even a bottle of wine in a restaurant runs you about $30, which you wouldn't get in any of the major cities in California. Now, in terms of accommodation, I talked about this earlier a little bit. Campgrounds run you between $55 and $100. It can get a little bit more expensive, but you would get like a little cabin. But you might just want to stick to your tent in those cases. Otherwise, you can always choose an inn or an Airbnb, which should run you about $300, $350 per night. But as we mentioned before, it does come with breakfast, which is a nice little perk. Those
inns also can get booked out at different times of year. So I know we mentioned to book in advance for the campgrounds, which is a definite, especially post-COVID. Everyone's sort of really excited to get out and explore again. And so the campgrounds specifically, especially like the state park campgrounds, those are booking out way in advance. But the inns too, we noticed like you definitely need to plan, I don't know, a couple months in advance to be able to get a room at a place that you really love.
So overall, we really had a great time. We can highly recommend the whole Mendocino coast area, especially if you are a nature lover like we are.
Yeah, I mean, the Mendocino coast really opened our eyes to, I think, what California probably was like a few, like 20 years ago, or maybe even longer. And it was really, really nice to go somewhere where you weren't kind of surrounded by a lot of people. You could just kind of stretch your legs everywhere you passed. You wanted to get out and check out. And you could, there were just so many trails. There was just so much accessibility. So just really can't recommend it enough. If there's something that you wanted to know about Mendocino that we didn't cover, please let us know, because we might know it and just didn't mention it in this video, so happy to make more. And if you do go and you like some of the things that we talked about, please let us know in the comments below.
And also, please do the whole YouTube thing, like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel so we can make more videos like these ones. Thank you so much for watching, and
have fun out there.
Bye.
Bye.